But what is it that you can remember? You can't remember anything. Okay. Perhaps we haven't done this human capital reporting. We've done measurements, human capital measurement, okay, but not human capital reporting. I don't think so. What I wasn't sure was, did we finish issues of measurement? That I don't know, but anyway, the rest you can manage to read on your own. But let's tackle human capital reporting. Then from there we move on to unit number 5. Okay, so we are looking at human capital reporting. Human capital reports provide quality information on the employees, human resource practices, trends in the company, etc., which can help the business grow. So in the reporting, when you are reporting about human capital, you provide qualitative information. In other words, it is not in the mathematical as you were doing the measurement, but now you are giving out qualitative information on the issues of employees. And for example, you would say, what is it that this particular employee is doing? According to his behaviors, you can explain that he comes late to work. Every time he comes late to work. So you are now describing, it's qualitative in nature. And even the HR practices, in reporting, you may do it in qualitative way, whatever practices you're doing, especially, like for example, in recruitment processes, you can easily do it through qualitative. And then trends in the companies, etc., which can help the business grow. So all these qualitative in nature can help you to grow as a business. So it covers aspects like organizational structure, the employee data, expertise or skills of an employee, salaries, policies, etc., etc. So all these are part and parcel when it comes to reporting. So human capital reporting is reporting of valuation of human resources inside company, which usually consists of intangible values. So most of the time, you are reporting about valuation, how value is a human being in an organization. So the more you realize their values, the more you are able to utilize your resources very well. Okay? So issues that we need to learn with human capital reporting. Issues to learn when you use human capital reporting. There is no mechanism to verify correct valuation in terms of accounting. So in this case, there is no specific mechanism to verify correct valuation in terms of accounting. So you simply look at a person and say, this one has got good behaviors. But that good behavior cannot be quantified, cannot be given in mathematical ways. Okay? But it is a correct information. It is a correct valuation that one has taken. This one has got a good behavior. It is simply a description. It is simply a description. It is not put into accounting. It is not put into accounting. It is known that all the financial reports published by the companies are audited. Yes. Financial audit ensures whether correct accounting practices are followed and brings out any fraudulent activities in accounting. However, for human resource reporting, there is no such audit. Hence, HR hence HCR are not subject to verification. So in other words, you cannot verify about what is happening with your employees' behaviors. You cannot put it in mathematics about the behaviors of your employees. You can simply value it using qualitative information. Qualitative information. In other words, using descriptions is when you can do that. But in actual sense, you cannot value it using accounting systems. That is number one. Number two, companies which initiated human capital reporting as a good practice found themselves in financial trouble. Okay? Companies which initiated this kind of reporting as the good practice found themselves in financial trouble. But still, organizations involve themselves in the process of human capital reporting, which is being classified as internal reporting and external reporting. So, see, the fact that you don't have to use mathematical system of valuing your people, it does not mean that you cannot value your people. You can still value your people even though your organization is having difficulties, is having problems in finance. So this kind of reporting is in two areas. That is in external reporting and internal reporting. External reporting and internal reporting. So here comes the forms of reporting. There are two forms of reporting, internal reporting and external reporting. Internal reporting and external reporting. So what is internal reporting all about? Internal reporting is still the most common form of reporting. However, this internal report is becoming increasingly sophisticated as organizations recognize the benefits of disseminating better and more accurate data around their organizations. Much as it is important to have this internal reporting, but at the same time, it is so sophisticated in the sense that it is so complex, in the sense that it is so difficult to implement it. So why? Because there's a need for you to be accurate. There is a need for you to have to bring in a correct data, and therefore it becomes so sophisticated. However, there are benefits of these internal reporting, and these benefits of internal reporting are as follows. Number one, better informed decisions. So if you have reports that is coming from within, as an HR, you have got a better informed decision. For example, if you want to promote someone else, you can't just promote someone else based on what you are seeing outside, but it should be based on the report that you are receiving from the line managers. So these reports that you are receiving from the line managers will help you to make a better decision on whether you want to promote this one or you don't want to promote this one based on the report. Another benefit, increasingly ability to recognize problems and act on them before they escalate. So a reporting system helps you to understand or to recognize the problems that are there as soon as possible before that problem goes to that extent where now you cannot control it. So through reporting, you are able to recognize the problems and act on them before they are escalated. And then through reporting, another benefit is the recognition for the HR functions as a source of information. Recognition for the HR functions as a source of information. So in other words, through reporting is part of the HR functions. And this is where you can get a lot of information. This is where you can get more information about your employees, Another benefit is increased ability to demonstrate the effectiveness of HR solutions and hence improve the argument for greater investment in the practice. So it helps to increase the ability to demonstrate the effectiveness of HR solutions. So the moment you have these reports again and again, definitely you have the ability to demonstrate the effectiveness of HR solutions. You know, when you are there in the organization, there are lots and lots of problems that will come, but these problems may not be solved if you yourself, you don't have these reports. And these reports will help you to demonstrate the effectiveness of such HR solutions. Let's come to the external reporting. The Frumina? Okay, fine. Okay, don't worry. You, it's only the two of us today, so yeah. So increased ability to demonstrate the effectiveness of HR solutions and hence improve the argument for greater investment in HR practice. So if there is a need for greater investment, you have to argue based on the information that you are getting. Then you can be able to argue to say, we need more money for this and that and that and that. External reporting. Much as the interest surrounding human capital in the last few years has been driven by the demands of investors, financial analysts, and other stakeholders for better and more reliable data on long-term sustainable performance. Let me read it again. Much of the interest surrounding human capital in the last few years has been driven by the demands of investors, financial analysts, and other stakeholders for better and more reliable data on long-term sustainable performance. So in other words, today, when you are in an organization, there is a big demand driven by the investors to say that we must have the report given to us. So this is an external reporting. Now, the outsiders want you to report to them, because there is that kind of demand. That's why even the National Bank of Malawi, at the end of the year, they publish in the newspapers how much they have earned for that particular year. They will show you how much they have costed and how much they have earned and give you the profit for that particular year. It is a demand by the investors. So if they don't give out such kind of report as an external reporting, definitely others will have a question mark to say, what is it happening there in this organization? So you need to report in the newspapers, okay, publicly. Why? Because then those investors, those people that would like to buy shares within the company would say, yes, this is a very good company. Let's go and buy shares because they're making profits. Okay? So you are able now to attract these outsiders, stakeholders, because they have seen that you have that reliable data, and then you have a long-term sustainable performance within your organization. This required all companies to provide in their annual reports a narrative report consisting of a balanced and comprehensive analysis consistent with the size and the complexity of the business. So you need to provide these annual reports on the narrative report, and at the same time you have these financial reports balancing up what has come in and what has gone out. What has come in and what has gone out. All right, so this balance and comprehensive analysis is consistent with the size and complexity of the business. For example, number one, the development and performance of the business during the financial year. This must be stated. The development and performance of the business during the financial year. To say, okay, this year, from January to December, what is it that the company has done? The company has increased minda ya Nzimbe. And because it has increased minda ya Nzimbe, and this has been the outcome. So you put it in financial way to say, this is what we have done, and this is what we have performed throughout the year from January to December. And then you look at the position of the company at the end of the year. At the end of the year, what is the position of the company? Has the company registered a great progress? If the company has not registered a great progress, something is wrong. Something is wrong. And therefore, you put yourself in a position whether that company is going forward or is going backwards. So this is also must be seen in the report. The main trends and factors underlying the development, performance, and position of the business of the company during the financial year. So the main trends and factors must be underlined, must be put in place, must be seen clearly. What is it that you have made on the way? And as you were going through, how have you managed those factors? How have you managed those factors? And then where are you as of today? Are you done with the problems that you had in the early days of the year? And so on and so on. So these things must be put in the report. The main trends and factors likely to affect the company's future development, performance and position. So these main trends and factors are likely to affect the company's future development. Because if the future development is because of what you have made, and yet you haven't solved them all, then becomes a problem. So you need to report all these things so that it is easily captured. Welcome. You want to kill us with your food? No. So this had to be presented in such a way to enable the company strategies to be assessed along with their potential to succeed. Therefore, it has to be included. It has to be included. So the things that have to be included are as follows. Number one, a statement of business, objectives, strategies of the business. This must be included in your report. A statement of business, the objectives of the business, and the strategies of the business must be put in the report. A description of the resources available to the company. This must be put in your report. You describe what resources are there available for you. And then once you've done that, then investors are going to be happy with you. Another thing that must be also added is a description of the principal risks and uncertainties facing the company. What are the risks that the company is facing? For example, last year we had the Cyclone Freddy, okay? Cyclone Freddy affected the Ilovo Sugar Company because they were unable to ferry sugar from the field into the factory. So that is an expected one. And the company, and in your report, you should be able to foresee such kind of challenges and report and say, I think we are able to foresee these uncertainties. We can be able to foresee these risks that are in front of us. Good enough, this year I understand that 2 cyclones have already been predicted. Yes, 2 cyclones have already been predicted that we will experience again the cyclones this year. So in your reporting, you must say, we will have 2 cyclones, and this is how we have prepared for it. This is how we have prepared for it. And by doing so, then investors and other stakeholders are going to be happy with you. Another thing that must be presented is a description of the capital structure, treasury policies, and objectives, and the liquidity of the company. So these things must be also put in your report. What kind of structure are you having in the organization where you're working? So if you have a good structure, and then what are the policies, treasury policies, money policies that are there in the organization? This must also be put in the report. And what are the objectives and the liquidity of the company? Is the company having ngongole kavena ai? So such kind of things must be clearly stated and described so that those investors and other stakeholders can be able to know how you are doing in that organization. So to comply with these requirements, companies are advised to include information about the environment. So for you as an HR to report back to your investors, you are advised to include information about the environment. How is the environment of that business? Are you having stiff competition in that business? Are you having some threats in that business or not? So it is very important you talk about the environment. Is the environment conducive enough for the business, or it is not? Or would you like to go to another environment, to another market where you can be able to do well? It is also a requirement to talk about, to give about information about employees. If employees are not all qualified, it is time now to talk about the development of the employees. My employees are not all qualified, and therefore we need some trainings here and there so that they can become qualified. These things must be put in the report as you are reporting to the investors. Issues of social and community, social and community issues, plus the company's policies and how these have been implemented. So, you know, social and community policies, we're talking here about social responsibilities. These are social responsibilities. As an organization, you have a social responsibility to make sure that you are able to help the people that have surrounded you, There are also, companies had also to include analysis using financial and, where appropriate, key performance indicators, including information in the environment and employee matters, as we have already said. Good. So that's all about reporting. Yes. Now let's come to the link between the business, the link between human capital management and business strategy. How are these two linked together? How can we say that indeed human capital management is important to the strategic plan of the business? Okay, so we'll look at the the link between human capital management. This is unit number 5 for your information. Sorry, unit number 3, not number 5. Unit number 3. So we'll start with the link between human capital and strategic human resource management. All right. So human capital is a bridge between human resource and business strategy. So human capital management is a bridge. When it is say a bridge, it connects the two roads, a road from Kanengo and a road from this capital city, and they are meeting at Lingazi River. So it is connecting these two streams, human resources and business strategies. So this one provides the basis for evidence-based resource management. That is to say, the process of ensuring that decisions and proposals on the development and applications of HR strategies and practices are backed up with hard data derived from the following. So you can see that human capital management is very important. It is linking between human resource practices and the business strategies. So as you're managing people as a capital, it is becoming, a link between the practices of human resources as well as the strategy of the business. So we are saying that this human capital management, is backed up. In other words, it is bringing in evidence based on research. If, for example, you are saying, my people need training. My people need training. It is based on research. It is not just a mere saying. It is not just a wish for you to have a training. No. Why? Because the capital management, within the capital management, there are areas of measurements. There are areas of reporting. There are areas where, so all these things are based on the research. You cannot just come up with a need for training without doing a research. And therefore, it links between human resource practices as well as the business strategies. Remember, the business plan is always a 5-year plan. If you want, for example, to buy an airplane in 5 years' time, that means you have to start now, making sure that your employees are able to produce more so that you can have more profit. The more profit you have, the more money you can generate in order to buy an airplane. So you need, but you cannot do that without having a research. So you must do a research. So, as well as benchmarking. Benchmarking is also another area. Benchmarking is about what are others doing. Okay? What are others doing? For example, when in your organization, there is a need for salary increment. You cannot just increase salaries just because members of staff have asked you to increase salaries. You increase salaries based on the benchmarking. What are other organizations that are similar to your organization doing, paying their staff members? For example, you cannot give someone a Ochecha 1 million. Ochecha 1 million. Today, can you give 1 million to Ochecha? No. Then you are crazy. You're crazy because your fellow people that are having also the same kind of workers are not paying them 1 million. So it is through benchmarking that the strategy of the company will be met. The strategy of the company will be met through the HR practices. And then it is based on the analysis of evaluation of the organization context and management activities. So it is also coming from analyzing the context of the business. Within this business, within this organization, what is it that we're meeting? What is it that we are facing in this organization? So this information is very important, and it is only provided by human capital management. That's why it is a link. There is a link between human capital management and human resource practices, and on the other hand, strategic plans for the business. And then if you go down there where I've just marked yellow, it says a second way of specifying the link is to explore in more detail the people applications of the business strategy and conversely the business application of the strategy. This can be done by analyzing the elements of, okay, Takambagalizo says. Good. Let's move on. Let's move on. The human capital management and strategic HRM. We'll just look at the only two sentences there. You don't have to go into details. I will send you the notes later on. Human capital management is only concerned with outputs, results, and values right from the outset, and designs its interventions and activities accordingly. While the strategic human resource management talks about what? Focuses on strategy, integration, and coherence. So just by looking at this sentence number 1, you can see that the strategic human resource management is only focusing on the overall, the umbrella, the strategy, the integration, whereby you're trying to bring that and that and that and that together. Okay, but while human capital management is concerned with the outputs and the results and values. So the human capital management is looking at the results, is not looking at the plans. Strategic human resource management is looking at the plans. Okay, what are we planning to do? We are planning to buy an airplane. But now human capital management is looking at the results. Have you bought that airplane or not? So if you haven't bought that airplane, that means something is wrong. So that's where there is a link now. That human capital management and strategic human resource management, they are together. They must work together. Because a plan without implementing it is a useless thing, isn't it? If you plan something and you haven't implemented it, you don't want to work on it, then it's just as good as if you had not planned. So when you have planned, you need now people to work on the plan so that you are able to see the end results. You are able to see the end results. So that's why human capital management is very important, because it is looking at the outcome, the end results. For us to reach there, what is it that we can do? So you'll be putting in small things. These are what we call strategies. Small things, this strategy, so that you are able to reach out to the intended goal. And that's the beauty of human capital management. And again, point number 2, human capital management indicates the direction to be taken by a resource-based approach in order to improve resource capabilities. While strategic human resource management focuses on satisfying human capital requirements of the organization by reference to data provided by human capital measurement. Okay, so if you look at the strategic human resource management, it is only focusing on satisfying human resource requirement. In other words, how many people shall we have this year in this organization to do well? No, this year, instead of having 25 people, let's have 30 people. They are only the strategic human resource management is only looking at satisfying the number that are required in that organization, 30 people. Okay? So once 30 people are provided, while the human capital management is now looking at the direction to be taken by a resource-based approach in order to improve resource capabilities. So they look at what is it that we can do in order to get people that are skilled. Because it is these people that are skilled can give us the end results. If we just get people for the sake of getting people, we may not reach out to the intended results. So that's what we are saying here, that human resource capital management can easily be linked with the strategic human resource management. Good. Let's come to the components of employee resource strategy. The components of employee resource strategies are number 1, 2, 3. Retention strategy. Okay, this is how you can strategize for you to have people in the organization. And for you to have people in the organization, number 1 is retention strategy. Preparing plans for retaining the people that organization needs. So as you are acquiring people to come into the organization, you must also plan in order for you to retain them. Okay? I have always been saying to people, younger ones like you, it is very simple to get a boyfriend, but to retain that boyfriend, it's not easy. Eh? It's not easy. So, so you must plan in advance. How can I retain this boy? I want this boy to be my future, husband. I want to retain him. So that is the strategy number one. You have to put in small strategies. Component number two is talent management strategy, whereby someone who is well talented, this one must be also well managed. Because you cannot allow a talented person to leave your organization. So we must make sure that this particular person who is talented is managed well. Recruitment and selection strategy, planning the approaches used to obtain people. In fact, here, if it was me, I would have started with recruitment and selection. Okay? Then talent management, then retention strategy. But here it's like they have done it the other way around. Yeah. So we are saying that planning the approaches used to obtain people is very important. When you want to do recruitment for managers, do you go to Kaoma? Wakaoma, you know Wakaoma? You don't know Wakaoma? Or which location do you know here? Around this area. What about Siriza? You know Siriza? You don't know Siriza? Where are you coming from, you guys? You know, but she doesn't know. Okay, so if you are looking for a manager, you cannot go to Siriza and say, we are looking for a manager, please can you come? There's a job here. There's a vacancy here, we want a manager. You will never find a manager there. Okay, what can you use in order to find a good manager? What media do you use? What media do you use in order to get a good manager? Yes, there are also kinds of newspapers. If you go into Mooney newspaper, the national newspaper, yes, because it is a paper that is read by many people. It is a paper that is, the banners before they start working, they'll start reading the national newspaper. So such kind of things, you can easily get the manager that you want. So it needs planning on how you can approach these kind of people, how you can bring in the people. So it is a component of employee resourcing strategy. All right, let's come to human capital management and talent management. Human capital management and talent management. The meaning of talent and talent management. Talented people possess special gifts, abilities, and aptitudes which enable them to perform effectively. You guys, are you talented? You don't know. You must know. No one is not talented. Everyone is talented in one way or another. Okay? You don't know how you are talented. Okay? But what is it that you can do much better than anyone else? What is it that you can do much better than anyone else? You are a fast learner. Okay, that is a talent. And it is an inborn talent. You see? Yeah. So these are the things that are very important in your organization. You must look out for people that are skilled, people that are gifted, people that have good abilities and aptitudes, so that they can be able to perform their duties effectively. All right. So talent, as defined by CIPD, talent consists of those individuals who can make a difference to organization performance, either through their immediate contribution or in the long term by demonstrating the highest levels of potential. So talent management is the process of identifying, developing, recruiting, retaining, and deploying those talented people. So that's talent management. That's talent management. Now, let's look at the differences that we can see between human capital management and talent management. I will just look only for those. There are only fewer anyway. Number one, human capital is the investment made on the physical being in order to be equipped with relevant and usable armors. So, human capital is simply the investment made on the physical being. This particular person has been invested in order to be equipped with relevant and usable armors. In other words, if you are a soldier, you are always equipped with the armor. What kind of armor are we talking about here? When a soldier is being trained, is given some equipments, armors. What are they? What? They are what? What is that? Okay. Yes. Breastplate. Yes, that's one. Then they are also given a gun. It can be a pistol or a AK-47, or they have also boots, shoes. They have helmets. Okay, all these are the armors. All these are the things that requires that the people would need to have so that they are competent in their work. They are competent now. While talent management is about positioning your pool of talented personnel in positions that will ensure optimal performance and benefit for the organization. Okay, so you have armed the people. The people have, the soldiers are fully armed. How would you position them so that you are able to meet your goals? How are people positioned? Is it the first good? They're always put in lines, okay? The first ones, are they the best fighters? And then the second group, are they lesser than the first ones? Or the third one, are they lesser than the... How are people positioned in the field of battle? Do you know? In the field of battle, how people are positioned. You want to win a battle. How are you going to position your soldiers? Come again? It depends. Okay. Okay. Yes. Exactly. Yes. So that means you are now strategizing on how to win that war. So you put people in at a position which is a good position for him to do his job, just as good as in football. Okay, in football, if you line up your team and then you take a striker and put him as a defender, do you think it will work? No, it won't work. It won't work. So a striker should be a striker and should be put in the front of the game. A midfield is a midfielder and it should be put in the middle. And a defender is a defender, should be put at the back. And a goalkeeper is a goalkeeper, which should be put on the goalpost. So you are able to align people based on their... are we together? You are aligning people based on their what? Talents. Okay? A goalkeeper is talented to catch a ball. So you cannot take a goalkeeper and say, okay, we're going to say, where goal, will get moves at. So talent management is putting people at their right positions. That's about talent management. So that's why there is a need for human capital management, which is now linked to the strategic plan. In this case, you're talking about now talent management. How are these two go together? We are saying that human capital is the investment made to physical being. In other words, you are able to train someone. You are training someone. But after training someone, you must put him at the right position so that he's able to work well there. But after training someone and then you don't put him at the right position, what's the purpose of training this one? It's just a waste of money, a waste of time. Huh? So that's why these two work together. Human capital management versus talent management. Human capital management is talking about investing in this one, training this one heavily. And after training this one heavily, now he has acquired a talent. That talent must be well managed. How do you manage that talent? Put this one at the right position so that your goals can be met. Goals can be met. Good. So that's all about that. Today we are very in a hurry because we have remained only 2 days to meet. Let's come to the processes of talent management. Talent management starts with the business strategy. And what is significant in terms of the talented people required by the organization. Ultimately, its aim is to develop and maintain a pool of talented people. Its elements are resourcing strategies, attraction and retention programs, role design, talent relationships, management, performance management, learning and development, managing succession planning, career management. So that's the process of talent management. So it starts with the element of resourcing strategies. Okay, for you to manage talent, it starts with resourcing strategies. So it starts from there, and then attraction. One can attraction and retention. One cannot be cannot remain in the organization until you attract him. Okay, and then role design. This one is a mechanic, and you simply give him a job of a driver. It can't work. This one must be given the right job. So role design, talent relationship management. Making sure that his talent is there's a very good relationship within the management. Performance management. His performance must be well managed. Otherwise, if you're not giving him or her compensation based on his performances, then you will lose him. Learning and development. I know after one has done his job, he must go and be refueled, just as good as you use a car. After using a car for a week or 2, you need to refill gas into the car so that it can continue running. So in this case, learning and development is a way of refilling, gas into someone so that he is so energetic and continue. Management succession plan. Of course, most of the organizations today, they don't have this management succession plan. They always, think that they will be there forever, and they don't want anyone else to be closer to this particular person. I don't know why these days. I think maybe there are secrets in the organizations. But it is important to have succession plan and career management. So all these are the processes of talent management. Okay? They are the processes of talent management. Good. So we want to look into those diagrams. We have already done much when we explained that. And I'll give you these notes later on. Let's come to learning and development in human capital management. This one is unit number 3C. Human capital and learning and development. Unit number 3C. Learning and development in human capital management. Let's start with the learning and development. Learning and development strategies ensure that the organization has the talented and skilled people it needs, and that individual are given the opportunity to enhance their knowledge and skills and levels of competence. Okay, so when talk about learning and development, these strategies, it ensures that the organization has the talented and skilled people it needs, and that individuals are given the opportunity to enhance their knowledge and skills. If you are not given the opportunity to enhance your skills, then it's wrong. I want to believe that all of you are able to cook nsima. Am I right? All of you are able to cook nsima. Huh? How did you start? Very badly. Very badly. Okay? But, let me cancel you. Very badly. But did your mother give up? Okay? She kept on teaching you, isn't it? Yes. Perfecting you up probably to now that she can proudly say, now I can rest and my daughter can cook nsima for me. Okay, so that's what we were talking about, learning and development. These talented people, skilled people, they are the people that we need in an organization and should be given opportunities to enhance their knowledge and skills. So if a mother is not giving you an opportunity to cook nsima, even for your dad, what's the point of teaching you how to cook nsima? The point is that at least when she's there or she's not there, you can cook for the family. You can cook for the family. So opportunities should be given. I have seen my wife sometimes, she would relax and let the kids do the kitchen work. Okay? Yeah, I should relax and enjoy a father's company, and then the kids would cook. The kids would cook. So that's what we are talking about here. That after you've been trained and given the skills, you should also be given the opportunity to utilize the knowledge and the skills that you have acquired. So learning strategies are concerned with developing a learning culture, promoting organizational learning, establishing learning organizations, and providing for individual learning, which includes learning culture strategies. In an organization, your organization must be a learning culture. You must have this learning culture, whereby everyone who comes in is given the opportunity to go and do some learning. And then organizational learning strategies, that also must be put in place. Learning organization strategies, individual learning strategies, all these things. Okay? So the explanations are down there. When we talk about learning culture strategies, it is described by Lawrence 2004 as a growth medium that will encourage employees to commit to a range of positive discretionary behaviors, including learning, and that has the following characteristics. Okay, good. Let's move on. Let's move on. Organizational learning strategies. Organization learning strategies. What are the strategies that are required for the organization learning? A process of coordinated systems change. It is so important to have a process of coordinated systems change. When you are doing the organization learning, the strategies that are required are that there must be a process of coordinated system change. It also consists of a built-in mechanisms. There must be something that is built in, something that is concrete in your organization, so that you are able to become an organizational learning. Useful for both individuals and groups. That learning must be useful for both the individuals as well as for the groups. Must also assess, build, and use organizational memory, structure, and culture. So all these are part of the strategies as far as the organizational learning are concerned. Okay, let's move on. Learning organization strategy. This one was defined by Siege 1990 as where people continually expand their capacity to increase the results they truly desire, where new and expansive patterns of thinking are nurtured. So there is a difference between organizational learning and learning organization, okay? Please take note of this. There is a difference between learning organization and organizational learning. So as I give you the notes, you'll be able to understand what are the differences, okay, between organizational learning and learning organization. Okay, let's look at the 5 principles of learning organization strategy. Principle number one is that it is systematic problem solving. In other words, the problems are solved systematically. They are able to be solved systematically. They go step by step. And number 2, experimentation. In other words, learning organization go by experimenting first. And also learning organization, they learn from the past experience. What is it that they have done in the past? And by doing so, that means they have learned. Learning from others, you can also learn from other people. You know, like in class here, you cannot just learn from the teacher, you learn from each other. Transferring knowledge quickly and efficiently throughout the organization, that is also part of learning organization. Good. Let's move on. Let's come to this very, very important thing. Much as it hasn't been put here in your under your course outline, but I feel I should tell you this, very important. Human capital management versus knowledge management. Yes, sir. That's this is room 3, okay. Yes, thank you. Okay, so we'll talk about knowledge management. When we talk about knowledge management, it consists of some processes in recovering, capturing, and sharing, applying knowledge to improve the knowledge, blah, 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 blah. Okay. In short, there are 2 types of knowledge. There's what we call explicit knowledge and tacit knowledge. Okay? So, the explicit knowledge is the knowledge that is a knowledge for the group or for the company. That's explicit knowledge. While as the tacit knowledge is the knowledge of the individuals. So the question always comes in is that when you are managing knowledge, how do you transfer knowledge from tacit knowledge to explicit knowledge? In other words, knowledge from the individuals to become an organization knowledge. As a human resource manager, how would you do that? Let me pose this question to you. How would you transfer tacit knowledge, which is an individual knowledge, into explicit knowledge, which is knowledge occupied by the organization? How would you do that? How will you transfer it? You don't know. Okay? All right, let me say, for example, the Coca-Cola company. How many people know how to come up with a Coca-Cola product? How many people are able to produce Coca-Cola today? No, even those that are part of Coca-Cola company. How many of the workers that are working in the Coca-Cola company are able to make Coca-Cola? You don't know. Okay? The Coca-Cola company, okay, those people are just receiving products